Hi, it's Janelle Molony, author and historian, and today I'm at Red Buttes just outside of Caspar, Wyoming. And I wanted to stop here and tell you a little story that might make you uncomfortable. And we're talking about a battle that happened here in July of 1864. Well, hold on a second. We all know that there was a battle on July 26, 1865 around Red Buttes, or between Red Buttes and Platte Station. And during that battle, Caspar Collins ended up dying. And that battle has been very well documented. And in fact, people have tried to find this exact site of it, and they've tried to find where the cemetery, the bones, the remains are, and it's a whole thing. But today, we're looking at the battle from a year prior, almost to the day. And I'm not sure if Caspar Collins was involved in it, but maybe. So if we backtrack to July of 1864, in the middle of the month, there were a series of coordinated attacks on immigrants between Fort Laramie and the Deer Creek Garrison in present-day Glen Rock. They've since been called the Platte River Raids. After those raids, there was a band of Sioux Indians and their wives and children coming north from Utah Territory. And at some point, one of the soldiers back at Fort Laramie said, "I remember that guy. He came through, and then we had the raids, and maybe he's the one to blame." So this idea was planted in the Union Army's communications. And once they learned that that tribal band was coming north from Utah, they were a little bit nervous over at Platte Station, thinking, oh my gosh, maybe these are the guys that are involved, and we need to do something, we need to respond. Well, truth be told, that band of Chief Bill, Blackfoot Sioux chief, was not involved at all. And he had actually been to a battle in Utah Territory and had the scalps to prove that he had won that battle. And so anyways, there was an order that came through to Platte Station from a commander saying, I want you to go and I want you to get all of the men that were camped at Red Buttes, and I want you to interrogate them, and I want you to get them to tell us about their involvement in the Platte River Raids. Well, Sergeant Merwin, stationed at Fort Caspar as we know it now, he did not agree with that command, and he did not follow it. So the next day, the commander showed up and personally repeated the order. So Sergeant Merwin took a small squad of men out to meet Chief Bill, Blackfoot Sioux Chief Bill, and his tribal band with women and children with them in order to carry out this impossible order. And the interaction, they never had a talk. They never came together because somehow Chief Bill received a signal that what was about to happen was a trap. So he signaled to his men to turn around, and they started to flee, and Sergeant Merwin had to pursue, and they ended up in a 45-minute battle around here. And in the process, 10 or 12 of the Indian warriors were killed. And I want to read a selection from Immigrant Tales of the Platte River Raids, which to my knowledge, besides a few military letters, is the only place where you can really get the full story of what happened here. I don't know why it's not in prior literature. I have theories. Something like this would be quite uncomfortable to talk about or to disclose or admit to in a military record of what happened. So maybe that was the reason why this hasn't really been discussed before, but I don't know. So I'm reading a selection from a letter that Corporal Hervé Johnson wrote. He's referring to July 23rd. He says, "Night before last, 2 of the boys from Platte Station came down and told us that the Indians were coming in there, and they wanted to go down to the fort, and get something to eat." Really platonic, right? This doesn't have any of the signs of we're coming to attack. So I'm going to jump forward to the day of the battle. July 25th, 1864. So joining Sergeant Merwin that day was Josiah Kelly, a very angry and fearful husband of Fanny Kelly, who was kidnapped during the raids on July 12th. And he is absolutely determined to get answers. And he writes about coming down from Deer Creek Garrison to the Platte Bridge Station to join this expedition or this interrogation mission. And he says that we met a party of Indians coming down from Fort Caspar, and they ended up in a 45-minute battle. Private William Boardman reports that Sergeant Merwin went to the camp of Old Grass with 12 men to have a talk with them. Old Grass, however, probably smelling of mice, raised the war whoop, and down came their wigwams, and in a few minutes the whole Indian party were on their way to the hills. Sergeant Merwin and a party immediately pursued, and they made a stand, and they battled for 3/4 of an hour. Josiah Kelly reports that they wounded 1 Indian, took 1 man and 22 women and children prisoners. And they issued an ultimatum to the chief who did escape. And they said to this chief, "You now have 15 days to go find this woman, Fanny Kelly, that you know nothing about, or we're going to kill your women and children, in addition to the 10 or 12 warriors that they had just murdered." I don't like having this conversation. This is really ugly. It's not just uncomfortable for you to hear about this stuff happening, but it's really uncomfortable for me to talk about and to see how this has been missed in history books. This mistreatment, this misguided attack, this killing with no evidence. It's wrong. And it needs to be acknowledged.